The Denver Broncos may have finally solved their biggest issue, and head coach Sean Payton knows it. Even while clearly battling a nasty illness during training camp, he couldn't hide his excitement. His voice was almost gone, and he looked like he should have been resting instead of coaching. But through all that, he was grinning like he knew something big was coming. So what's got Payton so fired up? It's not just that the team finally has a reliable tight end again, something they haven't had consistently since Julius Thomas. The real story is that the Broncos have completely overhauled their ground game, which was a glaring weakness last season. To put it into perspective, Javonte Williams led the team in rushing yards last year, but injuries and inconsistency meant Denver's backfield was a revolving door. At one point, even rookie Jaleel McLaughlin, not Bo Chapman-Nix, was leading the way. The team cycled through several backs, including Tony Jones Jr. and Tyler Beatty, and still couldn't get anything going. Collectively, the Broncos' entire rushing attack didn't even match Saquon Barkley's individual rushing total. That's how rough it was, but that looks to be changing, fast. And knowing Sean Payton's history, that shouldn't be surprising. Looking back at his time in New Orleans, even though his teams often finished near the top of the league in rushing, he rarely relied on a single workhorse back. Instead, he built dynamic, multi-headed backfields, think Alvin Kamara and Mark Ingram, and created explosive, unpredictable ground attacks. Expect more of the same in Denver. Payton is already hinting at a similar committee-style approach, which could mean big things for the offense this season. In the next segment, we'll break down exactly what he said at training camp and who might be the key players driving this revamped run game. Looking back at Sean Payton's history with running backs, there's a clear pattern, and it's one that gives major clues about what he's planning in Denver. Very rarely has Payton had a back eclipse the 1,000-yard mark, and when it happens, it's usually just over the line. It tends to happen early when he's breaking in a new lead back. For example, Deuce McAllister and Reggie Bush each barely cleared 1,000 yards early in their Saints careers. But from there, Payton shifted gears and leaned into running back committees, a style that's made his offenses some of the most versatile in the league. That's exactly what seems to be taking shape with the Broncos. Denver has a trio of intriguing backs in Jaleel McLaughlin, Audric Estime, and rookie RJ Harvey. Some assumed Harvey's arrival meant one of the others would be pushed out. But that's not the case, not even close. If anything, it points to Payton building the kind of three-headed monster he loves. There was one particular season from his Saints tenure that really stood out, a year where three different backs all logged over 100 carries. That's the blueprint. Payton doesn't need one bell cow. He thrives with multiple weapons. Alvin Kamara, one of the most electrifying backs in the league, never had a 1,000-yard rushing season under Payton. Yet he was still a Pro Bowl regular and one of the most feared playmakers in football. That's the kind of balance Payton is recreating in Denver. Audric Estime brings raw power. Jaleel McLaughlin has blazing speed and shiftiness in space, reminiscent of Jahmyr Gibbs. RJ Harvey looks like a perfect hybrid of both. Together, they give Payton the flexibility to attack defenses from all angles. And if there was any doubt about Estime's role, Payton cleared it up. When asked about Estime's performance last season, he called it incomplete, pointing to a lack of opportunity rather than ability. In fact, throughout the offseason, Payton's staff has reportedly been in regular contact with Estime, reminding him, "We have big plans for you." Sean Payton made it crystal clear. Some running backs need consistent touches to thrive, and that's exactly the kind of player Audric Estime is. Payton has built his entire career around a running back by committee philosophy. Unlike the quarterback position where too many options can create problems, Payton believes you can never have too many capable backs. And this year, Denver has three who can all make a serious impact. That doesn't mean RJ Harvey won't shine, quite the opposite. Payton is going to relentlessly exploit any mismatched defenses throw at him, and Harvey has all the tools to be a game changer. And let's not forget Jaleel McLaughlin. There were moments last season where he made plays that simply didn't seem possible. One that stands out, he took a handoff near the boundary on a critical third or fourth down. There was barely any space, defenders closing in from every angle, and somehow he still found the end zone. Plays like that are what set him apart. His explosiveness and creativity in tight spots are rare, especially in Denver's recent backfield history. With this trio, Estime's power, McLaughlin's speed, and Harvey's versatility, Payton has a full arsenal at his disposal. Expect him to mix things up constantly, hitting defenses with a jab, jab, right hook kind of attack. The order may change week to week, but the result is going to be chaos for opposing teams. Now think about some of the other teams in the division. The Raiders picked up Ashton Jeanty. The Chargers added Omari Hampton. Both are talented, but if either goes down, there's little depth behind them. Meanwhile, the Broncos are stacked with multiple backs who each bring something different to the table. That depth is a huge advantage. Remember that dominant performance against Carolina last season? That kind of game, explosive, unpredictable, and physical, could become the new normal for Denver. Plays where it looks like there's no way into the end zone, and somehow they score anyway. This backfield is built to embarrass defenses, and Payton knows exactly how to make that happen. RJ Harvey is living up to the hype, and then some. Watching him at training camp was enough to get fans and analysts buzzing. Former players, local media, and team insiders have all echoed the same sentiment. Harvey brings a completely different skill set to this Denver backfield. One person who really broke it down was former Broncos safety Nick Ferguson. He highlighted Harvey's incredible fluidity, especially in his hips, and praised his ability to change direction with elite-level jump cuts. It's the kind of movement you don't see often, even in the NFL. He's shifty, smooth, and slippery, a true nightmare in open space. Now, compare that to Audric Estime, who's a bulldozer once he gets moving. Estime's strength is raw power and downhill momentum. Harvey, on the other hand, makes defenders miss with finesse. But here's the thing, Harvey's not just elusive, he's got some power behind those cuts too. That combination is what makes him so dangerous. Nick Ferguson also pointed out Harvey's lower body burst, that sudden explosion when he makes his move. That's the kind of trait that turns short gains into big plays, especially once the pads go on. KOA's Ryan Edwards added that Harvey looked outstanding in space, highlighting his quickness, vision, and burst. On one play, he hit a jump cut straight into a spin move and would have picked up double-digit yardage in live action. It's the type of agility that made scouts say Harvey could make a man miss in a phone booth. And based on what we're seeing at camp, that wasn't just draft day hype, it's real. There's a reason Sean Payton targeted him. This wasn't a panic pick or a fluke. Payton knew exactly what he was getting, another versatile weapon to keep defenses off balance. And if history is any indication, Payton has always gotten production out of lesser-known names at running back. Remember Tim Hightower, Mike Bell? Those guys had solid seasons under Payton when few expected it. Now imagine what he can do with someone as naturally gifted as RJ Harvey. This is by design, and it's going to be fun to watch. Sean Payton has a proven track record of finding talent, whether it's a big-name first-rounder like Reggie Bush, a mid-round steal like Alvin Kamara, or a total surprise like Mike Bell. That's what makes RJ Harvey's emergence so exciting. Payton knows how to spot potential anywhere, and it looks like he's done it again. There's been a wave of positive buzz coming out of camp. Former Broncos legend Carl Mecklenburg even commented on how sharp and efficient practice looked, something that hasn't always been the case in Denver during the past few years of constant turnover at quarterback and head coach. Much of that improvement seems to be flowing from the top. Ownership is clearly invested. On the very first day of OTAs, the owner was on the field, not sailing off somewhere or taking time off. That presence alone set the tone. Expectations are high and accountability starts now. And it's not just about the backfield. Wide receiver Pat Bryant is turning heads too. There's a symbolic torch being passed in Denver, from Demaryius Thomas to Cortland Sutton, and now possibly to Bryant. The comparisons might sound bold, but there's something real there. Bryant had just one drop last season at Illinois despite playing with subpar quarterback play. He didn't transfer or chase the spotlight. He stayed, he produced, and now he's here, ready to make a name for himself. And then there's the tight end position, finally a legitimate piece in the offense again. That alone changes how defenses will be forced to line up. One fan said it best online, don't underestimate what Sean Payton is going to do with this offense now that he has a loaded backfield, a reliable tight end, and a young receiver with elite hands. This unit is going to look completely different. And here's the wild part. The Broncos already had a top 10 offense last year, even with a depleted roster. No real run game, no consistent tight end, yet they still found ways to move the ball. Now, with real weapons, depth, and structure, this offense is about to be must-watch TV. Broncos country, it's time to believe again.